it is the National Novel Writing Month. This is the National Novel Writing Month. What we are going to do today is that we are going to talk about how do you use photographs to tell a story. And with me today is my friend Yashwant Mahadik. Yashwant today is not going to talk about anything to do with HR, and he's only going to talk to us about how to become a better photographer. So, Yashwant, welcome to the show. It's lovely to have you.
Thank you so much, Abhijit. It's wonderful to see you on such a festive occasion. First of all, wishing you, everyone at SHRM, and all the viewers of this live broadcast a very, very happy Diwali. Today is Choti Diwali, so wish you a happy Diwali. And also, Abhijit, I know your birthday is coming up on this Monday, right?
That's right. Yes,
so
yes.
I'm not going to reveal your age, not to worry about it. Okay, so your birthday is coming. However, I think I'm sure most of the viewers know that Monday is not only Abhijit's birthday, but Abhijit is also going to launch his book, The Dreamers and Unicorns. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
what can we expect from that launch? And do you want to talk about it a bit before we get into the photography stuff?
So there is going to be a LinkedIn Live on my page, not the SHRM page, but my own page. So I'm going to have a conversation with Aditya Ghosh, who is the ex-head of Indigo Airlines and then on board member of OYO and Fab India and all of that. So we are going to talk about different things. So I'm going to leave the topic as a surprise. But thank you so much for bringing that up, Yashwant. I'm going to sort of dive straight into the whole topic of photography. I want to start by first saying that, when we see a lot of your photographs, I know you do a lot of wildlife photography, but beyond that, if there are people like me who do not use any fancy camera and we are just using a mobile, is that good enough to do great photography, or does one necessarily need a camera to do that?
Oh, no, Abhijit. And that's one of the biggest myths that I hope we all can burst today. You don't need a very high-end photography equipment to create stunning images. Of course, it helps. Okay, it helps only if you got to know how to use it. But, as they used to say, the great photographers, especially Henry Cartier-Bresson, he used to say that the best camera is a camera that you can carry anywhere. Okay, it's not. And today, mobile phone cameras are the best cameras because you can carry that camera anywhere. And having said that, the capability of the mobile phone cameras over the past 3 to 4 years actually is started to bump the professional cameras of Canon, Sony, Nikon, all that I use. And I can say that. So if you have a good mobile phone and a good camera, which most of them have, you are good enough. But there are certain tricks and techniques, which is nothing to do about any camera. It's all got to do about the art of creating an image. As long as you are aware of it, and if you can utilize that and build that in your skill set, you will be able to make stunning images.
Fantastic. So let us look at all those shortcuts which you can take great photographs. And today being, we are going to, if you can spend a little bit of time telling us about how do you take photographs, the Diwali photographs that people typically do, which is, there are lamps burning in the dark and people take some stunning photographs with that. My photographs always turn out to be lousy, but I just want to know, what can I do? What are some of those things I can do to take good photographs with that?
Absolutely. So we'll share some of those tips. So let me tell you, in specific, festival photography, which is festivals of evening, okay, like Diwali. Diwali is a festival which is mostly in the evening, right? And when it comes to evening, so, what are the things which are most critical to photography or creating image is light. Okay, is the light. And what you lack in evening festival photography is light. So many people who are very good at creating fantastic images in the day when the light is good, or even early mornings or late evenings when the light is the best, all of a sudden after it's dark and when the light isn't there, they get very disappointed with the images. Well, let me tell you, you shouldn't get disappointed, because when you're using mobile phone, you got to be aware of a certain thing. So let me tell you, I don't know, like you have a mobile. So I use the iPhone 11. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I've been using iPhone, and now if you look at it, so I also kept my iPhone 10. Okay, so these are the two. Um, you know, of course, I've moved away from my 10 to the 11. Now, what do you see? How they have been progressing. Okay, so iPhone 10 has these two lenses. You see these two lenses here, and
Yeah.
this has two. This
Three.
is where now you take the Redmi Note or any of those, some of the highest, and Samsung, all of them have more than one lens now. And what that means is, and I'll explain that in a bit. So this is where it is going to a professional level. Okay, there are softwares which are built now to capture photographs in low light. There are post processing softwares which help you to recover data, because this is digital photography. uh, Mobile phone or any even the Canon, Sony today is digital photography. So you have to understand what is digital photography. It is all about pixels. Okay, so you have to imagine there is a big square, and there are thousands or millions of small squares within that square. So when a digital image is captured, every pixel has a different impact. So one pixel will catch the shine on my nose, one will capture the shine on my glasses, one will capture the darkness of my hair, and that's what a pixel captures.
Right.
Now, in softwares and post processing softwares, that's where what you can do is you can tweak certain pixels that you only want to. So if there are while you take a picture, and if I get only half my face as dark and half my face as bright, you can adjust just this half, or you can adjust even this half. So this has started to happen. Therefore, the trick is to first know, and there is no shame or there is nothing wrong in using post processing software. All good photographers, all professional photographers use post processing software. You see,
So give me an example of post-processing software. What are some ones that people can look at?
so one of my favorite ones on the mobile phone is Snapseed. So if you go to
Okay.
Snapseed, that is very, very good. Then is the Adobe's. There are various.
Uh,
Adobe has, but there's the one known as PhotoFix, okay, of Adobe, which is designed just for mobiles. Then there is Adobe's Lightroom, which is again designed for your mobile as well as your. So these are a few, and these are some of my favorite ones. And I
okay.
would say that stick to these, because there are so many free out there, but a lot of them can corrupt your mobile phones or your laptops. And what is cheap is not necessarily the best, and what is free is, I can almost tell you, is not the best. Okay, so that's about the post processing of the softwares, etc.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think Sahil Khan is really saying that loves Snapseed. Yes, that's a fantastic software, and I, of course, am a Adobe fan. As you know, that I use Photoshop. I use it not just for the photographs, but also for then adding things. You can also draw on it and all that. You can use lenses. So there are various things with which you can do that. But how do you you were saying that are you going to talk more about how do you first let's divide the section into how do you take the photographs, and then we'll talk perhaps about how do you make it better through the software. Maybe we can divide into these two sections. So let's just go with what are some of the things to keep in mind when you're photographing things, let's say at night, because flash photography is not everybody's cup of tea. I mean, I personally find it extremely complex to use flash. I never get good photographs with flash. What are some of the things that what are some of the things to keep in mind while using flash?
Yeah. So that's a very, very good. So flash is a difficult photography, because any time you use any artificial light, or you use an extra light source in your image, your technical capability to understand the effects of that extra source of light that you're bringing in has to be very high. And that's where So if you put a flash, so let me try and see if I can share my screen
Hmm.
and show you a few of the photographs, etc. Okay. Let me just see if I can share something. Let me. Do you see my screen? If you
Yes,
see
I
my
do.
screen, I can. You know. You see
Okay,
it?
yes, I can see some of the photographs. Yeah, can you click on it? Yes, now I can see. Okay, all right.
So now this is a festival during Diwali, mobile phone
Hmm.
photography for you. Okay,
Wow.
and this is using a flash. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
now a few things to remember. Okay, and again I'll show you, and I'll also show you some bad images, or I'll show you some images that you need to click the way they are, but you will have to make. So now again, this is also. Do you see this?
Yes. Yes.
This is also using flash. Okay, as an
Hmm.
extra source of light. And this is using the mobile phone flash. Okay, but
Okay.
here, what I had to do was I had to brighten the room behind. So the light behind was so bright that I had to overpower that light with my flash so that the faces of my wife and my daughter and my dog come out nice. Okay, so it's
Sure.
only in. So you should use flash only when the background light is very bright. If the
Okay.
light is in the direction of your subject, never use flash. That's one tip. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, the other one, let me show you. Now I'll show you some of these. Okay. So if you look at this picture, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
picture perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Absolutely.
is during Diwali again. Okay, you see the Diwali diyas and all at the back.
That's
Now,
right.
this has been used using a flash. Again, because the light at the background behind my daughter was
Yeah.
very bright. That's why I have thrown a flash to overpower. Otherwise, my daughter would have come in a silhouette. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So that is the trick. However, now also let me show you the raw version of that image. Okay. So not that everything that you share, okay, is or that you shoot always comes right, at the first time.
Hmm.
Now, let me open this image and show to all of you. Okay. Now, this is my Adobe Bridge. So I'm also an Adobe user, Abhijit. That's what I use.
Absolutely.
So do you see this picture?
Yep.
Now, this is the same picture without flash when I had turned off the light at the background. Now, there is no
Hmm.
life in this picture, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely no life. It looks, except for my daughter who's full of life, it's lifeless. While as the backgrounds have come out nice, etc., etc. Now look at this one. Okay, do you see? It is just pulling up. Do you see this picture?
It's very dark. Yeah. You can
You know,
hardly.
and why is this picture dark? Because the light source is just not recognizing. So majority of the people when they click pictures like that, they get disappointed. Then
Right.
I will show you the same picture. So I have used these just to show you. So now the same frame, same picture. What I did is I've used my camera flash.
Ah. Okay. So
But
it's sort of highlight.
camera flash is such, it doesn't know so it has gone on my daughter's face, but it has created a very strong shadow at the back,
Right.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Then what I do is then I said, okay, understanding it. So I first, kind of put the exposure. Now in this, what happens is in iPhone or any of those cameras or those photographs, what
Hmm.
you need to do is to get the focus and to get the light effect, you got to press on that. So here, then I pressed on my daughter's face to get the exposure right there. Okay.
Okay.
And then, you know, I clicked it and you see the picture is much better. Now, this
Correct.
is the best you will get in these lighting conditions. And as a photographer, you have to resign to that fact. And then you can brighten this entire image up in post processing. Okay.
Okay.
But by making the image, if you try to make it very bright, then a lot of pixels get burnt. And you cannot recover the color or any of the detail in the pixel through any post processing. Okay. Then Let me show you another one. And this is what happens, So this is a typical Diwali photograph, correct?
Yeah.
So this is my home, in Gwalior, where we usually spend our Diwali.
Right.
Now, what do you think is right and what do you think is wrong in this photograph, Abhi?
I mean, I like the fact that you've got all the the Diwali kind of thing, which is sort of filling up. And by the way, we also have Ashish and Achal who are saying hello to you and
Yeah,
talking
hi,
about
hi,
these.
Ashish.
Achal says, "Yash, you are too good. Thanks for these simple tips,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
before
So
Diwali."
this is how I'm in Gwalior, spending my lockdown here. I'm in Gwalior, and this is how my house is looking right now because of the Diwali lights we have put. So for this session, I went out and clicked some of these images.
But there's a
Now,
lot of the
what
black
is
which is there.
yeah? So what is happening here is, and the reason, so the black is the sky, which is going to come black because it is
Sure.
late in the evening that I picked. But to get the light exposure correct, I have exposed for the light. Okay. So
Uh-huh.
here you got to focus and put your exposure not on the house, but on the light, any of the brightest light sources. Take the exposure of that, you will get an image like this. Okay.
Ah.
However, one thing that has gone wrong in this image, and I actually, it didn't go wrong. I created it to give this example, is the composition is haywire. Look at the foreground. That is my lawn. Okay. But this photograph would have looked beautiful if it was a day photograph because then people understand that this is a lawn.
Hmm.
But right now, people are not understanding that. They're saying, what's this dark patch?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's what I meant. That it is, dark. That's what I meant.
That is
Yeah,
composition. So then what I have done is I have just changed the angle and I have
change
started
it.
to improve the composition. Okay. See, now
Yeah,
people get
now it's sort of
dimension of what it is. Okay. And that's how, and now look at this one.
yeah,
You understand? So
yeah,
So it's not, usually what happens is you go and stand at the best view that you have and you start clicking pictures.
correct, correct.
The trick is for a stunning photographic image, the composition and the view is somewhere else. So you got to go and look at it from the side, you got to look and look at it from the, above, below, and then create a stunning image. Okay. Um, so these are some of the things. Then this is the last one I want to show you. Okay. What happens? So now this is again a mobile phone photography. Now, again, this is three of us, me, my wife, and my daughter. It was clicked by someone that I requested. Now, if you see the chandelier on the top, it has
Hmm.
totally overpowered. And because the ceiling is white, okay, it is reflecting light only in the half of the room.
Right. And the top half of the room is bright. The bottom
Yes.
half.
But nothing wrong in this image. Click it like this, and then you should post process it. Okay. And if
Mhm.
I can just give you an example, so suppose if I was to open this and show you how post processing is done.
Hmm.
Okay. So I'm
Hmm.
I'm opening Adobe Photoshop. That's what I use for post processing. Okay.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
wanted to show people that there's nothing wrong in an image. You look at the composition. Now, you know, uh, so this is a raw image, and this is how you post process any image, using. So sometimes Photoshop is so good, Adobe. So I don't use Adobe Photoshop. I use the Camera Raw. So this is the Camera Raw software of Adobe. It's an advanced one. So if I do auto, see how it improves the image.
wow.
Okay. Now I can further improve it. So I put the exposure up.
My
I
God.
take the highlights down. Okay. I am happy with the shadows. I want to add a little bit of contrast because it brings out the colors. So I've added a little bit of contrast. I think the vibrance is fine. Let's put the saturation above because then it gives. And then it is a warm image. But do I want to make it more warm? No. Do I want to make it a little bit light? Don't know. You see.
Mm.
So that's the temperature. So I think it's too warm, so I reduce the temperature a bit. Okay. And what you have is a stunning image.
Absolutely.
See? So everything it has recovered. It has
Yeah.
recovered everything. Now, when you look at the image, the eyes goes at the three people. Earlier,
Correct.
when you were looking at the image, your eyes would go to the chandelier, right?
Correct. Yep.
So this is how you create. First, create your composition, and then process your image where you would like the person's eyes to go first. Okay, and that's how you do it. I don't know if I was able to give, this is
So
a
yes,
small tutorial, you know.
so, which is also a tip that they do, when they teach you, how to draw. One of the things is that if you sort of draw a crisscross across uh, uh, the four corners, that's where you're at the center of that crossing point is where your eye is going to be, and you can shift it up and down, one third ratio of one third. So similar kind
And
of principle.
the rule of the thirds, you know, which is
Rule
all
of the
there, and that's so usually, you know, putting your subject in the middle is very tough photography, because you know what happens is your composition has to be perfect,
yeah,
to be able to get it. But once you put it on the rule of one third, so if you were to imagine that your entire frame is made
so
of
it's like this, like sort of move.
9 boxes, then
Yeah,
towards the second left is where you want to place your subject and leave what they call as the positive space. But it all depends, you know, it all depends on your composition, on your frame. So in a wildlife or in a landscape, all these rules matter. But when you're clicking in a room, okay, um, you got to be very clear what you want to show and what you don't want to show. So accordingly, place your subject. And intuitively, people are very good at it, Abhijit. You know, you
yeah,
go in any house, the children of that house will know which is the spot to take best pictures.
correct.
And nobody has taught them that. So intuitively, human beings are very good at it. It's just understanding the science and the creativity angle behind it and doing it. So I hope that was helpful. If not,
That's fantastic. If there are any questions, our viewers have, happy to take those questions as well. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to switch to a different question for you, Yash. When you're photographing animals, I'm very very fond of animals, especially dogs and cats. I love photographing dogs and cats. I saw that picture you have of your dog. Are there suggestions, because the animals don't really care about posing? So, how do you sort of look at that? And there is a question from Ashish. Says, should photo size be reduced when you download and save in your laptop and computer? Because original photographs always take up a lot of space.
yeah.
So,
So that's a good question. So it depends. First of all, it depends on what you shoot, which mode you shoot in. So say for example, if you shoot in raw mode, which most professional cameras do, and even the mobile phones today, like iPhone 11, it shoots in raw. So I shoot all my pictures in raw mode. So what that means is it is still a digital image, which you can, you know, brighten up. You can, post process the moment you shoot. And there's shooting mode also. So jpeg is not a digital format of raw. JPEG is a picture file. Okay, so when you have shooting jpeg, so
so
the
Yash,
difference is very simply to tell you, I mean, you know, there's a lot of pixel science behind it, but very simple to tell you, when you shoot raw, all pixels are available to you the way you shot it, and your ability to recover details or to burn details is very high. JPEG, on the other hand, is a picture file where if your picture was shot, say in 7 million pixels, in a
right.
JPEG, it gets reduced to 70,000 pixels.
Oh my God! I mean, so that's what they say when they say flattening the image.
And that's sort of flattening the images. So what happens is you lose a lot of pixels because it has flattened. So say about 1,000 pixels gets converted into 1 pixel. Okay, and
Wow.
it keeps on getting flat. So therefore, a raw image, if it is about 16 megabytes, the same raw image, a JPEG, will be like 1.7 megabytes.
Oh, that's a massive difference. So this is
Massive difference.
so it is the equivalent of saying, when you do podcast recordings, we record in wave format, and then when you put it in MP3, which is how most people sort of understand music, but MP3 there's a massive loss of quality. So somebody who's a connoisseur, or when you send a file to a studio, they don't want you to send it in MP3 because there's nothing can be done with it. It's already flattened. So yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, just to give you, so say for example, what you should do is you should click and use your hardware storage to keep them in RAW. But when you, after you process them, when for posting or for sharing, you reduce it to a JPEG or you reduce it. So let's take for example Facebook. When you go and post a picture on Facebook, even if you are trying to post a TIFF, which is the highest form of a raw image, a TIFF format, Facebook will reduce it to the lowest pixel format. So okay, so TIFFs are like 300 DPI, okay, or most of the printable images are at 300 DPI, but it gets reduced to 70, 72 DPI by Facebook or anyone else.
Okay.
And that is rightly so, because they can't have unlimited storage space, because whatever you're posting on Facebook, they are storing it somewhere. So so that's what it is in very simple and lay terms. But if you start getting towards becoming a professional, especially in wildlife, especially in wedding photography, especially in portraits, you don't want to click in JPEG. You want to share in JPEG. So I always share my images in 72 DPI, but I click my images almost at 300 DPI, which is the raw version. Okay. Now the advantage of reducing your image in 72 DPI and sharing it online or on social media is, Abhijit, do you know a 72 DPI image is non-printable? You can't print it.
Yeah. Of course.
You can print it, but it will come pixelated.
Yeah, it looks horrible. Yes.
Yeah, it will come pixelated. So that way it also protects your image. People can't steal it, because they can't modify it. They can't, post process it any further. So that's the advantage. That's the advantage.
So you have a lot of people who are sort of saying Kamal Vatnani, Bharti Tyagi, Joel D'Souza, Nitin Bhalla. Thank you very much for all your comments. Nitin is saying that he's also a big-time mobile photography fan, and he uses a 108 megapixel Samsung Note 20 Ultra.
That's a phenomenal camera, and that's a phenomenal camera. But one thing I want to share as a tip with everyone. So what happens is, now of course, as I said, there are more lenses and all. A mobile phone lens is usually the main lens that they use is a wide-angle lens. Okay, anywhere from 22 to 24 mm. Okay, it's a wide-angle lens. But the other lenses, so there are digital zooms, but now there are zoom lenses also in it, which is great. So you can have an ultra wide angle now, which like this iPhone 11 has. So it has an ultra wide angle. Then it has the 50 mm, which is 35 mm rather say. And then it has a zoom, you can do it 2 times, but that is digital zoom.
Right.
Your best images will come in the normal wide angle. Okay. Best images. Because what happens is ultra wide angle, and especially if you're clicking group pictures in ultra wide angle, be very careful. Anyone standing on the edges is going to look double their size.
So you want to stand in the center.
I have given always that tip, you want to look best in a group photograph. Okay. You should stand in the center or near the center. And if you need to stand on the side, you got to turn like this. Because, ऐसे में यश को चौड़ा कर दोगे तो ऐसा दिखेगा. But what happens is ऐसे में जब आप मेरे को चौड़ा करोगे तो you understand? That's the trick.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's there's not just about composition but the light and all of that, and that's what makes that's really what makes photography so fascinating, that there is so much to learn from. We are running out of time. There's one question that somebody has asked. Achal has asked, which is better, Apple or Samsung, from the point of view of the camera? Which one?
They're both excellent. So it's little to choose now today, I mean, not just Apple, Samsung, even the Redmi Note and all those cameras are phenomenal. They're very, very so very little to choose in the cameras, though everyone says. My favorite is Apple, of course, because I love it. But, the Note cameras of Samsung are phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
So they are good. iPhone 10, iPhone 11, Note photographs, Redmi, they are just up there. I don't think so. There's little to choose from what is the best camera from a mobile phone, but it's how you use it. How you use it, that makes the difference.
Absolutely. We are at the end of our 30th minute, and we sort of Bharti Tyagi also says that Oppo Plus One Plus 2 is a very good camera. Yes, absolutely agree. I've
Absolutely.
seen some very nice photographs, on that. Thank you very much, Yash. It was great as always. I am fascinated how much you know about photography, and one would probably love to do a series with you sometime, and hopefully one day we'll end up doing that. But thank you very much for being there. Please wish you and the family a very happy Diwali, and a very happy Diwali and greetings of the festive season to all those people who have joined in. Thank you so much for being there. Look forward to seeing you guys soon again on a different LinkedIn Live on the SHRM India page. Till then,
Thank you.
take care.
Thank you
Bye
so
bye.
much, Abhijit. Thank you, and SHRM. And thanks a lot. Look forward. Happy Diwali to everyone. And all the best for your book launch on Monday, Abhijit. All the very
Thank you.
best.
I look forward to seeing you all there.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you
Take
very
care.
much.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.